Okay, we have Coach Beamer, and he is ready for your question. We'll start on the left side, third row.
Good morning, Coach. To your left. Hi. Hey, Coach. AP Stedham of AP As We See It. Coach, what did your team do well last year, and what would you like to do better this year with your team?
Yeah, I would say we got better as the season went on. I think you always look at a team, how do they improve from week one to the end of the season, and there's no question we all improved as the season went, so that'll be critical to do. We were very opportunistic on defense in regards to taking the ball away and creating turnovers. We need to continue to do that. And then I think for us, it would be a lot that we can be better at. You're always looking at how you can improve, but a couple things. We need to be better at protecting the football offensively, and we'd like to score more touchdowns in the red zone. You look at us, I think we had the same number of trips to the red zone last year that Alabama did, but yet they had, I want to say, 7 more touchdowns than we did. So we need to make sure when we get down there, it's hard to score in this league, as you guys know. When we get down there, we need to make sure we're converting those drives into touchdowns.
Front row, and then pass it to your left, please.
Hey, Shane. Your 5th SEC Media Days as Carolina's head coach. What would you say is the difference in how this program is perceived from that first year to now this year?
A lot in regards to, I think about this every year, coming to this event in 2021 over in Hoover, and there weren't very many expectations for that team. There was a national reporter that week that said the ceiling for our program in 2021 was 2 wins was the ceiling. And now here we are 5 years later, and y'all are having conversations about LaNorris Sellers being a Heisman Trophy candidate, and people are talking about this team being a playoff team. And we embrace that, Rick. We embrace the expectations, but it's certainly changed in regards to how we're seen. There's more attention on us and more people that want to talk about South Carolina football than what there was in 2021. But we're also very respectful and very cognizant of the fact that it's truly year to year. Every season's a new season. We've come a long way since 2021, but we're not slowing down by any stretch of the imagination, and understanding that we did a lot in 24, but 25 is a new year. And regardless of what people are saying about us or how we're perceived, we ultimately have to go play and coach good football, and that's what we're trying to do.
Stay in the front row and then pass it to your left.
David Cloninger, Post and Courier. Shane, DQ Smith is here with you today. How rare is it to have a 4-year starter, to have him all that time and for the guy to start for all 4 years and play at a high level? Yeah, certainly rare in today's time, for sure, because of the portal, you don't see a lot of that. But that's why I love, DQ's story, David, and from covering us regularly. I mean, the guy's a high school quarterback that I think Georgia Southern was the only school that we had to beat for him. It shows how smart we are as coaches. We were actually initially having conversations with him about gray shirting, which I don't even know if you still do that, where you don't even come the fall of your freshman year. You come the following January as well, because we weren't quite sure he was going to be ready to play for us or that we'd have a scholarship. Not only, thank God, did we not do that, we brought him in, and then by game 3, he's starting for us. I think his first start ever was against Georgia in 2022 as well. And then to see how he has just continued to grow on and off the field, super proud of him, love what he's about. And it's a great, testament to, one, the development in our program, but you don't hear those stories much anymore. You hear about the 5-star recruits that come and get a lot of money and go play 3 years and go to the NFL. Here's a guy that played high school quarterback, got no money to come to South Carolina, and has played his butt off for his career, has gotten better, is a leader on our team, and is now here in Atlanta for SEC Media Day.
Front row.
Dick Cox with Indy Sports, Cox Sports Broadcasting. Coach, you are a special teams guru. How do you feel going into the season having to replace everybody on your special teams?
Not very good, to be honest. In all my years of coaching, Dick, and I don't think, and I'm going to say this downstairs or wherever the main media room is later, but I don't think in all my years of coaching I've ever been a part of a team where you have to replace literally every key special teams component from the year before. our punter, our kicker, our long snapper, our holder, our kickoff returner, and our punt returner are all going to be new as well. And we've got some guys that have done it return kicks-wise, whether it be Nick Harbor or Jalen Kilgore, but not primarily. So it's concerning, but I like the young guys that we have. There's no question about it. The guys that we have in those roles. We've got some guys that have kind of waited their turn behind our previous specialists. We've got some guys that we've brought in as well that we have high expectations for. So that's what's exciting and cool about coaching is guys leave, and now you get a chance to develop the next guy. And that's what we're doing. Joe DiCamillo is leading our special teams. It's a big challenge for us, but something that we've been hard at work on since January and eager to, get those guys out there and get them going.
Right side, third row.
Trevor Denton, Way 31. Right after that Alabama game is when you guys go on that winning streak to close out the regular season. How did that Alabama game kind of change the trajectory of your 2024 season?
Yeah, I think it's a couple things. One, we need to plan better. Y'all got me in here at the same time. Commissioner Sankey's doing his remarks. No wonder. Oh, that's a full room. Appreciate the local guys being here as well. I would say a couple things. One, that was LaNorris continuing to just take the next step after that game. The Ole Miss game, I think, was the week before, and that was game 5. And the Ole Miss game was the first SEC game that LaNorris had played in its entirety because he missed the second half of the LSU game and he missed part of the first half of the Kentucky game with an injury. So he was a young quarterback that was going to continue to get better. He did a lot of really good things in Tuscaloosa that day. So he took another step and continued to get better. But I'd say the other thing would just be us as a team at that point, there was a lot of frustration. And in that locker room after that game, there was very much a feeling of enough's enough. Like, we're tired of this feeling. And we came back in. I met with some of the leaders on our team like I always do the following week. And they sat in the staff room where we meet. And I'll never forget Debo Williams, our starting linebacker, saying, I asked him, like, hey, what's on y'all's minds and what's your thoughts? And they said, we're winning out. We ain't losing a game the rest of the season. And it gives me chills thinking about it. And that's what we did. So it was the leadership on our team just saying, we're tired of this and enough's enough. And then us as a team, particularly our young quarterback, just continuing to get better.
Middle, third row.
You've mentioned from a return standpoint, want to see a little bit more in that aspect. What have you seen, or when you look back to last year, how would you evaluate how y'all performed there, and how have you seen that kind of continue to improve in the
on which unit? I'm sorry.
From a return standpoint.
We got to get better. Sorry, it was Brian Kelly. He was introducing. Now I see Coach Kelly up there. We got to get better. We weren't good enough in the return game to answer the first question about where to improve. We need to be better at returning kicks. We've been very opportunistic on special teams. At blocking kicks since I've been the head coach. We've got to be better in the return game. Part of that is scheme. Part of that is personnel. We've tried to address both of them without a doubt, but feel like we will be. And it's hard to drive the ball long distances in this league against the defenses that you play. So the special teams aspect of it has got to be a big part of that. And that's covering kicks, but that's also returning kicks. And it's been a point of emphasis for us, and confident we'll be better this upcoming season.
Right side, fourth row.
Coach Carson Field, Sooners on SI. You used to coach at OU for a couple of years on their staff. OU makes their first trip to Columbia this year. What makes the atmosphere at Williams-Brice so tough and unique from others in college football?
Our fans, because I think our fans are unique compared to other fans. They're loud, they're passionate, they're loyal. It doesn't matter who you're playing, they are a true home field advantage for us. Whether you're playing a non-conference FCS team or a big-time SEC game, they're going to be the same, and that's unique compared to other places that I've been. But that'll be an awesome trip. I know a lot of Oklahoma fans are excited about that one. I've heard from a lot of them trying to plan their weekends in their weekend in South Carolina. But that's what they can expect. And I know our fan base, they'll be excited for every home game this year, but they're really excited about Oklahoma and a new team coming to Columbia as well.
Second row.
Hey, Shane. Saw you on SEC Network 10 minutes ago and kind of got a little fired up about, Paul's question of the SEC title was actually doable. Do you feel like you guys, regardless of the hype, are still viewed as underdogs in this conference?
Sure, I do. I think, we have to earn our respect, and we've got to do it consistently. And when the rankings or predictions come out this week, the normal schools are going to be probably right up there at the top. And when I say the normal ones, the ones that have been picked near the top for pretty much the last 20 years in the SEC in a lot of ways. So we've certainly got to earn our respect. But my point to Paul and my point to anyone is we've shown we can do it. And I told him, and I made the example on set was, and I didn't get to say it at the end, but 2010 was my last season working at South Carolina as an assistant. In that season, we played for the SEC championship, and we beat Georgia, we beat Florida, we beat Tennessee, we beat Clemson, we beat Alabama when they were number one in the country. And the resources that we have in Columbia now, on and off the field, are so much better than what we had in 2010. Now, I get it. The league is different, and all those teams have different coaches, and they're in a different place as well. But in this league, if you show you're one of the best teams, which we've beaten so many of the best teams in this league. There's teams that we haven't, but as you continue to recruit and continue to develop, yeah, absolutely, it's attainable. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't think it was, Jordan. I didn't come here to go 7-5 every year. I came to South Carolina to compete for championships, and we're there, and we're continuing to develop and get better as well.
Middle, fourth row.
Jerry Bates, WNSP, Mobile, Alabama. Coach, you'll be right back here in Atlanta at the end of August, playing in the Aflac kickoff game against an opponent in Virginia Tech, a school that has meant a lot to your life. What does that game and that matchup mean to you personally?
Personally, it'll be certainly unique playing a school that you've spent so much of your life at. And I've played schools that I used to coach at. I've played against Mississippi State, and I've played against Georgia Tech, and I've played against Georgia, and I've played against Tennessee, and I've played against Oklahoma. Those are all places that I've coached, but this one's different because it's literally, there's a statue of my dad outside the stadium. So it's different from that standpoint. I got great memories, so it'll be it's probably even more intense because it's game one, because there's going to be so much buildup. There already is, and there will continue to be leading up to that game. But at the end of the day, it's about the players on the field. That's what it's about. And we need to make sure that we are prepared to go play really well against a talented, Virginia Tech team that we know that they're going to be playing really well. They'll play really well against us, and make sure that we're not some of those teams. All you have to do is look around college football every year, and there's always a handful of teams that all summer long they listen to how great they're going to be and what their season's going to be. Then they go out week one, they get absolutely smacked in the face. There's examples of that every year in college football. There was last year. So we need to make sure that, we prepare the right way and get ready to go play and coach really well against a good Virginia Tech team.
Last question right here, real quick.
It's another question about going against Virginia Tech. We know how you wear your emotions on your sleeve sometimes. How are you going to be, or just give us a preview of what your emotions are going to be like, and how are you going to keep them in check, so to speak?
I think they'll be fine. In so many ways, Virginia Tech is still very special to me, Rick, but I've been back to Blacksburg one time in the last 7 years, and you say, man, you're an awful son. You don't go see your parents in Blacksburg, but they're always in Columbia, and I've got great memories in Blacksburg, but it's not like I've, live and die with Virginia Tech football every Saturday and things like that as well. But there are so many great memories. So I'm sure, as pregame, before the game starts, and you hear fight songs that and you hear cheers, and you see people there, because there's a lot of people on that staff, not just my dad, obviously doesn't coach there anymore, but there's a lot of people on that staff that I have relationships with, either coached me in college or teammates of mine, and Tori and Gray in college as well. So it'll be different from that standpoint, but I'll be honest with you, and I may be wrong, but I think I'll be so focused on just game ones, because game ones, and y'all have heard me say this before that cover us regularly, they're really, really hard because there's just so much unknown. because we're not to get on the soapbox again, but we're the only sport in the world that doesn't get to have like a preseason game or a scrimmage or an exhibition game at any level against another team. So we have a month of practicing against ourselves, and then you go play for real, and it counts. We don't get any kind of practice game. Not to mention, because of roster turnover in college football, every year is just completely different, and you don't know a lot about the team. And Virginia Tech will be a challenge because they've got a new offensive coordinator that wasn't even in college football last year. They've got a new defensive coordinator that wasn't in college football last year. So it's a lot of unknown. What will they be doing schematically? They've got a lot of new personnel. So I would honestly, I'm not trying to dodge a question, but I really think I'll be more focused on that, because game ones are really tough. You saw that last year with Old Dominion. And thinking about, doing all the things in the month of August to make sure we're at our best on that Sunday when we're back here in 48 days as well. But it'll be exciting, but I'll be glad when it's over, I'll be honest with you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week. Thank you.
Withstand some of the hype, all the Heisman talk, all that, the draft pick stuff.
Yeah, just building chemistry with those guys, the younger guys, the receivers we had last year. Just make sure we all good, offensive line as well. Didn't have a lot of time. I think they got out there in January, so just doing it as fast as we could, so we get the summer, start working out and all that. And then for your second question, I think really just taking it day by day, really, not getting caught up in it too much, but still keeping my head down and still working, because I know how much work I had to put in to get there, but I could also lose it quick. So.
Fourth row, and then pass it to your left.
Hey, LaNorris, Nick Wiggins, WNSP in Mobile, Alabama. In the new NIL era, players are moving teams every offseason. It feels like a story came out where your dad made some comments about how you were potentially trying to be lured to other schools, but you want to stay in South Carolina because of how it's a great situation. I just want to know, what did lead you to wanting to stay in South Carolina and not go somewhere else like a lot of other players do?
Everything I needed was in South Carolina. Like, I grew up there, my family's there. Anything I needed was an hour and 5 up the road from me. School pretty much take care of like rent and all that, so it's not like you really need too much, like, you know what I'm saying? So everything I needed in South Carolina, there's no point in me going somewhere to start over.
Right here in the front row.
Dick Cox with Cox Sports Broadcasting, Lindy Sports. You've got a lot of new toys in your toy box with all the receivers, young receivers, one of them even your brother. But just talk a little bit about that this summer, working with those guys, and what have you seen?
Yeah, seen a lot of growth from January to now. Like I said earlier, it's just they come from high school, and then it's coming straight from high school, graduating like December to January, which is winter workouts with us, and then it's spring ball 2 months from there, then it's summer. So it's really not a lot of time to get them rolling and going, because they'll all have to play this year, just because we brought back 5 guys, I think, in the receiver room, and then we brought a 6th freshman. So, I mean, everybody got to play. It's not a lot of time for them to grow and adjust, so we got to do it and do it fast.
Fourth row.
LaNorris, Jarrett Bates, WNSP, Mobile, Alabama. Every athlete's got a great pregame playlist. Is there a specific artist or song that's sticking out to you leading into 2025?
I wouldn't say a specific artist. It's kind of like what I'm feeling that game. I'm more likely to go in with like some chill music to calm me down before, so it's not like only adrenaline pumping through my blood. But yeah, I'll say that.
We'll go over here on the left.
Tyler Shaw with KBTX and College Station. LaNorris, from last year, what do you remember from the Texas A&M game when you guys beat, and how much are you looking forward to now going to Kyle Field this year?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've heard so much about the stadium, so I'm ready to see that. We went my freshman year, we played at like 12-ish. I mean, even when we played it then, it was kind of loud, and then it was cool seeing all like the military stuff before the game, being pregame warm-ups when they're walking around the field and all that. But Texas A&M was an exciting game just because it was a night game as well. They were big, physical. I remember Shamar Stewart hitting me and Jarrett one specific play. We talk about that all the time, but they are super fast, physical, they're smart, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Right side.
Yeah, what do you remember? It was never really a close game last year in Norman, but what do you remember from Brent Venables' defense, which has a reputation of being somewhat confusing to quarterbacks?
Yeah, it's exactly what you said. They did a lot of different stuff. Some stuff I've never really seen before, just playing his defense, but I know he was at Clemson before that. So it's kind of like I knew their defense was good going into the game, even being at Clemson, just the record they had there. And then it was similar at Oklahoma, similar scheme, but they were smart, they disguised well, they did stuff good, and they were physical as well. So.
Third row here in the middle.
On the offensive line, you're having to replace 3 starters from the interior. What have you seen from those position battles and really the line as a whole?
Yeah, just continued growth. They were super consistent. They were on campus all the time, working out together, building chemistry in the weight room, getting their body where they need to, more lean and muscle rather than like fat. So they're all moving well, they're smart, and work together, and we're in constant communication.
Right side, back row.
LaNorris, you mentioned being excited about playing at Kyle Field, but you guys played in an electric stadium yourself at Williams-Brice. What makes that atmosphere so tough and so unique from other atmospheres in college football?
I think it's just our fans. They play like a significant role. Just when teams are on offense, they're super loud, chaotic, and then they're staying in it like pretty much the whole game. It's not like it's high or it's low. It's kind of like no matter what, they're always loud and then into the game. So.
Front row here.
Hey, LaNorris, Rick Henry, WIS-TV, Columbia. How excited are you to be playing with your brother again? And when you were growing up as kids playing in the backyard, were you always playing the role of the quarterback throwing a winning touchdown, or did he want to be the quarterback?
Yeah, it's super excited to play with him because we played, I think the last time we played together was my senior year, which was 3 years ago or so. And yeah, like you said, I was always the quarterback. He played pretty much everywhere. And Rick Lee, he played running back, played receiver, he played DB. And I think once he played that up until last year, senior in high school. I think he's fully receiver now, but that's all we used to do, just throw deep, he would run and catch it. So.
Final question right here.
You lost Debo, Nick, and a lot of the guys who were the leaders in the locker room. Who do you see as the guys who are going to step up to give you like the leadership that you got last year?
So we brought in some guys. We brought in like Boaz Stanley. That's the center, so we obviously lead the offensive line. I would say I would lead like the quarterback room. Nick Harwood, Jarrett, those guys would lead the receiver room. DQ is here for the DBs, Nick Barrett, defensive line. And they brought in Sean Murphy from Florida State and Justin from Germany. We call him J.O. So those guys will probably be leading that. So I guess it's just like one big leadership community, whatever you call it. Brady Hunt's for tight end, those guys. So.
LaNorris, thank you very much.
Appreciate y'all.
Good job. Good luck this year. Be a tough one for us. Yeah. Okay, we have Nick here, and he's ready for questions. Let's start here in the front row.
Dick Cox with Lindy Sports and Cox Sports Broadcasting. Nick, can you talk about you have waited for your chance? You had some guys ahead of you last year, but this is your time to shine. Can you talk a little bit about, your feelings on going in the season and about being the guy who's going to have to be the leader on that defensive line this year?
Over the past couple of years, sat down some great players like Tonka Hemingway, T.J. Sanders, Boogie Huntley, just learned a lot from them. So whatever I learned from them, these past couple of years, I'm going to take it and apply it to this year, and as far as me being the leader, I've been in this defense for 5 years. I know the standard, know the ins and outs of what's going on. So, just kind of bring the young guys along, show them the standard of Gamecock football.
Stay in the middle on the second row.
When you think back to your recruiting process and you committed to Coach Muschamp, obviously, and signed with Coach Beamer. What do you remember about your first impression of Coach Beamer? Like the first time you talked to him on the phone or met him? Like what can you recall about that?
He's a great guy. He's very intentional about what he wants to get accomplished. So like just winning and everything. Like he lives it. So. Like just his habits of coaching us and everything. Like I see it. Like he wants to win. So that's like my impression of him. He's about what he says he's about.
Stay in the middle on the back.
Dan Peck, ESPN 106.7 in Auburn. How surprised was the team by LaNorris's success last year? He was something of an unknown outside of the program going into last season. And how does he? How has his leadership sort of resonated in the locker room?
I don't think that the team was surprised because like we saw it his very first year when Spencer was playing quarterback. It's just the matter of him doing it on a larger scale, on a bigger stage. So, and his leadership is been great. He's the same guy. He's very consistent. He does everything right, and he just sets a great example for everybody.
Fourth row in the middle.
You mentioned Tonka, TJ, and Alex Huntley. What were some things that you learned from him that you want to pick up and take into your game this year?
I learned something from each and every one of them. So like Boogie was our leader for the past 2 years. So I just learned good leadership qualities from Boogie, and like TJ and Tonk, like those guys made a lot of plays, like just asking them like how did you get this done and like how to execute certain stuff, like just stuff like that.
We'll stay on the left side, third row.
Tyler Shaw with KBTX and College Station. How do you feel like the expectations around the team have changed, maybe from when you first got to South Carolina?
I mean, obviously, we from when I first got here, we were coming off they were coming off a 2-8 season, I believe. So I mean, like a lot of people didn't really have high expectations, but the more games you win, the more expectations that you receive. So, we just continue to come in with a chip on our shoulder, continue to get better. Just all that last season was last season. We understand that it's a whole different story. It's a whole new team. So we got to we got to do something different this year. We can't just live off last year.
Front row here.
You've kind of been in the shadows for your first 4 years at South Carolina, and you're going to be in the spotlight this year. What's the most important thing you want people to know about Nick Barrett?
I'm gonna be prepared. I'm gonna do what I got to do to help lead this team. So I just make sure I do everything that I'm supposed to do so I could, help others get to where they need to be at.
We'll go on the third row here.
What kind of identity do you think y'all will have as a defense here this year?
We're working to come out to be dominant as we were last year.
Go on the back row in the middle.
We just got to talk with Coach Beamer. Energy's infectious. What do you say about playing for him and just something that might surprise people who don't get to see him the way you do?
It's fun. Like it's fun. Come out every day at practice. It's just like that. We got core values. He has core values all over the wall. Like you see him when you walk in the locker room, and he has them posted for when we walk out the locker room. So we just live by those core values. Just go out there every day and practice.
Over on the right side.
Nick, you've played in a lot of SEC stadiums at this point, but how would you describe how Williams-Brice Stadium compares to some of the others, and what makes it unique?
Makes it unique. We got the best fans in the world. I mean, and like I can't really say how I want to say because like they're there for us. It's not like it's a away team. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really answer that how I want to.
Left side, second row.
Kibi Huggins, WFB Channel 9 Sports Line. LaNorris Sellers, he had an amazing freshman year. I'm pretty sure it's not any surprise the amount of money that was thrown his way his offseason, but he decided he wanted to stay home and compete with his brothers. Was it any stagger amongst the locker room when he decided to stay and compete with you guys?
Be honest with you, I don't really pay attention like other people's like financial obligations. But like I said, he's a great guy. So I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. You know what I'm saying? That he wanted to stay here and finish what he started.
We'll go on the left side, third row.
What do you remember about playing Texas A&M? How much after kind of the game last year, looking forward to going to Kyle Field this year?
It was a great game. They came out there and competed. We went out there and competed, and we came out up top. So it was good. And then going into Cal Stadium, I know that we're going to get their best, and we're going to bring our best.
Final question, left side, fourth row.
Hey, Nick, you guys lost a lot of production along that defensive front seven from a season ago. What's it been like building chemistry with an entire new linebacker unit, and who's stepping up in that room right now?
To build the chemistry, we just do stuff outside of football, play the game with each other, just joke around, spend time outside of workouts. We'll joke around in the locker room and stuff like that, so things like that.
Nick, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll finish off the Gamecocks with DQ. We'll start with the very first question here in the front row.
Dick Cox with Lindy Sports and Cox Sports Broadcasting. DQ, South Carolina's had a long run of defensive backs that have come through and done a great job in previous years. Just talk about, you're the guy this year on that, though. What's your leadership role going to be, or what do you see, you're fit for this coming season?
The leadership role, it definitely changes this year with all the guys we lost to the draft last year. I'm stepping up to that plate now, and I know the history of the DBs that have left the University of South Carolina. We developed, so I'm that next guy. So I'm ready for it, and I'm ready for the challenge.
Left side, third row.
Good morning, DQ.
Good morning.
AP Stedham, AP as we see it. DQ, you got the commercial with Dairy Queen. What's going on?
Nah, it's something I want to work with one day. Just a lot of people on my team tell me that Dairy Queen. They call me that as well.
Yeah, that's cool. DQ, what would you like people to know about the defense this year?
Nothing changes. I know we lost a lot of players, a lot of vocal leaders, but we're replacing that. It's not easy to replace, but we know what the standard is, and we're gonna hold those guys accountable to that standard.
Stay on the left side, fourth row.
Sort of along those same lines, what do you think the identity of y'all's defense will be this fall?
I don't like I said, I don't think the identity changes at all. We got just new faces that come in and step in the roles that guys that left last year. The identity stays the same. We want to be that tough team, that tough defense. That's the real gritty and ready to get down and dirty, whatever. So just being dominant. That's the main thing, just dominant.
Right here, back here on the front row again.
You're going to be one of the faces of that defense this year, and you're going to be out there more visible than you've been in the past. So what's the most important thing you want people to know about you?
The most that I'm a team guy first. I put the team first, then me. Then obviously, just being a non-selfish guy, just out there to make plays, whether I'm making a play or not, whether I'm the contained player, get the ball back so somebody else can make the play. I'm one of those guys, not really a selfish guy.
How important is it to write off last year as a very good year, but each year is different? How important is that as a player?
It's definitely important, because we coming into the season with the confidence, the confidence we needed to go into the season. It's never easy, starting with a game like Virginia Tech. We have obviously first game, it's a big game, so just we need that confidence going into this year. Not really focused on last year though. Just it's a new year, new faces, so just going in here with the utmost confidence and balling out.
Left side.
What's it like working with Coach Gray? How would you describe him to everyone?
Tough coach. He's gonna put you in the film. You're gonna know a lot of things going into a game week. He's just one of those guys that just loves football. The way he loves football is gonna show the way he coaches us. He's yelling a lot. Saying a lot of things, but at the end of the day, he loves us. And, he wants us to do best.
Left side, third row.
DQ, what's the difference when you're preparing for the dual threat quarterback versus the pocket passer?
Pocket passer, it's kind of like just keeping the quarterback. We really not worried about him running or nothing like that. So just really getting to the quarterback. It's not, if he's a pocket passer, he's probably accurate, very accurate. So we have to be great in coverage. Dual threat, when we're preparing for a quarterback like that, obviously have to contain him, keep him in the pocket. But the most important thing is when he get outside the pocket, plaster into receivers, get into receivers, that's trying to make plays for the quarterback. So that's probably the two differences.
Back on the front row.
What's your thoughts of the season's opener? You get to come back to Atlanta. You're going to be playing in front of the national spotlight. You're playing Coach Beamer's old school where he went. His dad coached there. But just give us your thoughts on the season opener here in Atlanta.
It's a great game, especially with it being his, alma mater. So just going out here trying to make a statement for our season, it could really set the standard for what we do this year. It's not really going to I would say make an outcome of what we do this game. But, it's the first game, so you always want to make a dominant standpoint, obviously, just to win.
Left side, fourth row.
Obviously, it's been a while since you went through the recruiting process and coming to South Carolina, but certainly a little unique. What do you remember about just being recruited by South Carolina and how it all played out for you to get to the Gamecocks?
Well, obviously in high school I was a quarterback, so just South Carolina wasn't always a school I wanted to come to just because I wanted to play quarterback. I wanted to throw the ball a lot or whatever that meant. So just finally making the decision to play defensive back, it was no reason for me to leave. With Coach Beamer just getting here, so it was a new identity with the school. And then Coach Gray, I felt like was the best defensive back coach in America, and I still feel that way. So and then my family is also here as well. So just staying here was the most important thing for me.
Right side, third row.
DQ, South Carolina was one of the hottest teams in the country last year, down the stretch. How do you go about carrying over that momentum through the offseason into fall?
That momentum definitely carries over to this year, but at the same time, it's new faces now. It's a new year for us. We're not really worried about last year, what we did last year. It's definitely something that boosts the confidence a little bit, but at the end of the day, we still have to go play ball, and it's a new year. Everybody's record is 0-0, so just going out there, dominating again.
Middle.
ADQ, Noah Chast, ABC Columbia. Since you moved to the defensive side of the ball, do you have a favorite kind of play, like a hit stick, interception? Like, what is your favorite thing to do on the field?
Interceptions. That's my favorite thing. Interception and sacks. Those are my two probably favorite things to do. I have a couple of both, so just those two things bring the most excitement out of me.
Front row.
Playing in Williams-Brice Stadium is a great experience and environment to play in there. But where is your favorite place to play when you have to go on the road?
On the road, we play in the SEC, a hard conference, the hardest conference in college football. So I feel like every time we go on the road, it's a hard environment to play in. Favorite place, I really don't have a favorite. They're all amazing because it's SEC fans going behind their team. Just everything is the same. Like the smack talking from the fans, everything, the loud stadiums, everything's the same. So I feel like definitely every time we're on the road is one of my favorite places to play.
Right side, second row.
Alex Byington on three. Last year, it came down to the wire against Alabama. Alabama obviously comes to Columbia, which has been a difficult place for them in the past. Stephen Garcia remembers. Just what's the mindset going into it? I know it's several weeks away, but what's the mindset kind of going into that matchup, knowing the history of that series?
Right now, Alabama's one of the fourth, fifth game. I'm not sure when it is. Yeah. So we're not really worried about that game right now. It's kind of game by game. But when that game does come, it's definitely gonna be a huge game for us. Obviously, knowing Alabama's history and what they have done, coming to our stadium. So it's definitely gonna be a huge game for us. We're gonna be hyped up for that game.
Left side, third row.
DQ, you're sort of a big defensive back, I would say. And I know they're both challenges, but you have a smaller, fast receiver or a big, tall receiver. What's more challenging for you?
I wouldn't say anything is challenging. I can move still. I can move really well. So just there's really no challenge. We're going to call the right play for different personnel, whatever it is. So it's all the same to me.
Right here in the middle.
DQ, would you be a better college quarterback than LaNorris would be a college DB, or vice versa?
I'm gonna give it to LaNorris. I'm gonna give it to myself. Actually, I'm gonna give it to myself. I'll be a better quarterback.
Any final questions? We have a good talker here. Anybody else? DQ, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck this year.
Thank you.